going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. Since it's a relatively small room, I'm going to try to project here. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Feel free to mill in and out as you need to with your kiddos. There's a lot of other rooms to explore in this huge school. So, and feel free to grab food between speakers as needed. We're going to have a series of short programming, and then you'll have some more time to explore the school, get a bite to eat, and meet each other and have fellowship. So welcome to Anodos Academy, our open house, our unveiling, our very first time here together in this space. My name is Jessica Balsley, and I am one of the co-founders of Anodos Academy with my husband, Derek. And this is the first Christian center for education in our area in over a decade. Other schools have closed, other places have closed, and we're kind of having a rebirth here. We're bringing it back to our area. And also welcome to the historic Washington School, which is what we're still calling it. This is Washington School. It is in stone on the front, so we really are going to keep with that history. Derek's dad went to school here. So our parents went to school here. We went to school here. I was the attendance person that had to go to each door and pick up the attendance. So I had to walk those steps a lot. And the exciting thing is that now our kids can go to school here. And our children will too. So the last time Derek said he was in this building as a, fourth or fifth grader, he was scolded for sliding down the banisters. And I caught him the other day scolding the boys for sliding down the banisters. So we've become those people. But it's exciting to see, as my mom said, kids are playing outside in the grass at Washington School again. Kids are running through the halls again. So we're going to have a lot of purpose here. So there's exciting things ahead for our students, adults, our community, and we're going to kind of tell you all about what that is. We're going to tell you about what the plans are for Anodos Academy, who's involved, what the future-looking plans will be, and also we have some guests here. So we have clergy, we have pastors, we have priests from many churches around the country and even the state. We have Catholics, Lutherans, Pentecostal, non-denominational Orthodox Christians from Iowa, Minnesota, and Illinois here today. So welcome to everyone, and especially to our out-of-state guests. And we're all kind of united in that vision as Christians to inform our kids, not just their minds, but shape their souls. Some of our special guests, we have Senator Doug Campbell here from the state of Iowa. Thank you, Doug. One of our guest speakers tonight will be Pastor Stephen White of Life Church. Stephen, yep. And we have another guest speaker, His Eminence Archbishop Nathanael of Chicago of the Greek Orthodox Church of America. Welcome. And real quickly, I'd like to introduce our Anodos team, some people who have been working behind the scenes to make this happen. Myself and my husband, Derek, are the founders and board members. So we sit on the board of Anodos. And we have Whitney Clark, and she is our Anodos homeschool director. So she will be managing the homeschool group, and she does a phenomenal job with that. And then we have Elijah Bloom, who is our Anodos Brotherhood Director, helping with the men's group, coordination, and all of the above. Elijah does it all, so thank you, Elijah. Yep. And then I have a few quick thank yous. I need to say thank you for all the moms and kids in our homeschool group who came out to clean this space and get it ready for you today. It was a huge undertaking, but many hands make light work, and it was a fun day. So thank you for the cleaning. Thank you to our leadership team for planning. A special shout out to James Bloom. He did the majority of the renovation in this room that you see, and his craftsmanship and his hard work was amazing. Refinishing these floors that were underneath that old carpet, tearing out the ceiling, that was all. James did almost all of that work. So thank you, James. Raise your hand back there. Yep. And James is an Anodos homeschool dad and part of the Brotherhood men's group. So, and then we also had a thank you to Rod Danzo, who helped with the plumbing and renovation tasks as well. I think he was going to be here tonight. And He's back there, okay. And for all of you for coming. So Derek's going to tell you a little bit more about the philosophy behind what is Anodos, what does it mean, why are we all here, and where we will be going in the future. So I'll give it to my husband and co-founder / partner in crime, Derek Balsley.
Thank you. Wow, thank you all for being here. This feels like start of something big, so it's pretty cool. 5 years ago, Jessica and I retired from the business that we'd created, the Art of Education University. And at that time, I took the opportunity to dive deep back into theology, rediscover God. And I also stumbled upon something that's called the meaning crisis. Has anybody heard the meaning crisis before? It's a term coined by Dr. Jonathan Vervaeke, and it is encapsulating what is a growing problem within our society of meaninglessness, purposelessness, people feeling like they don't have a direction in life. And this problem is affecting people of all ages, but in particular it's affecting young people. And as I dove into that problem, sort of came to the conclusion that we are all the subjects of a grand experiment. And we didn't approve ourselves to be part of this experiment, and our parents didn't tell us that we were part of it, but we've been part of this experiment nonetheless. And so I want to tell you a little bit about that today. So through history, humans have organized themselves around God, around what's highest, around what's most important. And we organize ourselves, we organize our families, we organize our schools and our businesses, everything that we do. From when you plant your crops, these things will be determined by the God that you worship. Put another way, there's this hierarchy, there's this natural order. There's what's most important at top and what's least important at the bottom. And the way that humans have traditionally gone through the world is that they submit the things that are on the bottom to the things that's on the top, right? If you are going to be a farmer, you do your farming in a godly way. If you're going to be a teacher, you do your teaching in a godly way. And the way that you do that reflects the God that you worship. And so this hierarchy gives us one standard to measure everything. Is it good or bad? Well, how does it measure up? One principle to organize everything. And one highest goal to dedicate to everything, right? And what this gives us is a tremendous amount of meaning and purpose and direction and hope and faith. It drives us forward, it drives us upward. Just a little cosmology here, but the way that ancient Christians understood the world was as having two parts, sort of two realms. There was the world that we could see, the seen, and you see this right at the beginning of Genesis. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. There's the seen, the matter, and there's the unseen, what matters. And these two realms are not apart or distant, they're together, and they're deeply connected. During the Enlightenment, and I'm not going to do a philosophy lesson here, so don't worry. But during the Enlightenment, there was a series of philosophies that came up that sort of radically, offered a radically different approach. Nominalism, materialism, which led eventually to postmodernism, relativism. But nominalism would basically say, like, there is no truth, there is no beauty, there is no goodness. These are just figments of your imagination. And materialism would say, well, there is no spiritual world, there's only a material world. And the problem with this is it leads to a flattening of everything. There is no good, no bad, no right, no wrong, no true, no false, just my truth and your truth, right? My opinion and your opinion. And so that leads us, when it goes really wrong, it leads us to this relativistic way of looking at everything. So we're left now with this one-part world, this material world, spiritually flat, which can be appealing because it doesn't judge you, it doesn't discern your actions. Are you doing right or wrong? And in Iowa, in the 60s, this was institutionalized, meaning based on a few Supreme Court decisions. They said, we're not going to talk about the spiritual world in school anymore. We're not going to talk about good and bad, right and wrong. We're not going to talk about God for sure, because we're in a material world now, right? And so what is the consequence? It's pretty ugly. 50%, these are from the 1970s till today. So when my parents went to school here, it was a very different society. And it may seem like a lot of things have stayed the same, but a lot has also changed. So 50% reduction in high school seniors that attend church regularly. A 500% increase in self-identified religious nuns, so people who aren't religious. And what that leads to is 58% of young adults who report a lack of purpose or meaning in their lives, 123% increase in divorce rates, and 250% increase in teen depression in the United States. And so, the people who are conducting this experiment are well-meaning. They want to make the world more rational. They want to make it more reason-based. But as humans, we have a God-sized hole in our heart, and it can only be filled with one thing. And so we can't live in a purely rational world, in a purely reasonable world. We have to live in a spiritual world, in a world of heaven and earth. And by trying to live in a world that's just earth, just material, we've lost meaning, we've lost objective truth, beauty, goodness. We've lost our identity, who we are in relationship to this whole story, in addition to our purpose, even understanding what love and sacrifice are as real things, not just experiences. And we lost relationship with God. And so the claim of Anodos is that it's time to reclaim the worldview of our ancient Christian ancestors. Somewhere along the line, we lost something, and modernity stole something from us. And that worldview contains something really important that we don't want to keep from our kids. What I tried to do here is to lay out the two stories that we get to choose from. There's the story that the world is offering to our kids, and the story that we can offer to our kids. Many of you homeschoolers are already feeling this, making a decision to do the hard work to obtain the second one. But for many, that's not an option. And so, which story? The world is I'm going to give the world story. The world is meaningless. You are only cells and chemicals, neurons firing. Goodness, truth, and beauty aren't real. Nothing unites us. You are fine the way you are. Your identity is your choice. Your life has no higher purpose. Just have fun and make money. Does any of that sound familiar? When you put it all in one spot like that, it sounds pretty miserable. And we don't often come right out and talk about these things, but this is sort of the philosophical underpinnings of many of the institutions that are around us today. When you turn on the news, you see it. And then the Christian story, the ancient Christian story. The world is filled with meaning. It's meaningful from top to bottom. Heaven and earth are deeply intertwined. You are sacred and special, and you have free will. Goodness, truth, beauty are really real, and love unites us. We worship the God of love, and love unites us. And yes, we are all loved as we are, but we are also called to be more. We are called to transcend who we are today and to conform to the image of God. And thus, your life has a very high purpose. You are called to Anodos. And Anodos is a Greek term that means ascent with purpose. I thought this verse from Isaiah was particularly useful here. Ascend, my brothers, ascend eagerly. Let your heart's resolve be to climb. Listen to the voice of the one who says, come, let us go up to the mountain of our Lord, to the house of our God. And so, this mission to help kids reclaim purpose and meaning, this is what Anodos is all about. This is the story we want our kids to hear. We want them to know that they are special, that their life is special, that they have meaning. And the entire institution is built on that promise. And so what you'll see, this is the logo. If you guys get a chance to grab one of these stickers before you go, you can put it on your car or window or whatever it is. But in the logo, it gets to some of the deeper meaning. The most obvious thing here is that you have an opportunity. You stand as a human in the center, and you have the opportunity to ascend or the opportunity to descend, to put your faith in God and to humbly climb forward, or to put your faith in yourself or something worse. And this is the arena that we're all playing in. So thank you for all being here. Thank you for believing that God is important in your kid's life, that Christ is important in your family's life. And I don't know what the future holds. We're starting with sort of just 2 offerings, but there's going to be a lot more offerings in the future. But this is the vision that we're pursuing together, and we can't do it alone. So very grateful that you are all here. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. I'll introduce our next speaker, Pastor Stephen White. Pastor Stephen White is the lead pastor of Life Church in Osage, Iowa, and he is a passionate, servant Christian leader and speaker. His mission is to bring life, joy, and beauty into the community and to one another. And Stephen has a lot of his parishioners partaking in the homeschool group. And Stephen, where is he? There he is. Come on up.
All right, let's see if I can figure this out. Yeah, do that. Maybe?
There we go.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. You guys are awfully quiet. As she said, my name is Stephen. I'm the pastor of Life Church here in town. I'm coming at this and wanting to talk to you from a perspective of a Christian who bought the lie that secularism is neutral. I lived that lie for many years. I was raised up in Christian school until I was like 7. Then my parents were divorced, and I was into public school. Got married, had beautiful children, and within the evangelical circles of the 90s, the idea that secularism was this neutral space and that we should use our children as missionaries. And let me just say right off the bat, your children aren't missionaries. Your children are beautiful little images of God, and it's your job to raise them into the image and likeness of God, to catechize them, to disciple them. But when we give our children over to secular society, what we're actually doing is giving them over to be catechized and discipled, if you will, by the state. But more than just by the state, there's actually, how do I want to say this? There is an actual principality, if you will, based off Ephesians, that is behind all of that. Oftentimes we don't think of secularism as a competing religion, but the reality is secularism is a religion. So within Christianity, the theos is the triune God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Within secularism, the theos, if you will, is the Greek word demos. It's the people. We become our own gods. We make our own decisions. I was looking for a good definition of secularism, and I turned to ChatGPT, because everybody knows it never lies and it's wonderful, right? But it did spit out a pretty decent definition, and I just want to read that to you. It says, the worldview behind secularism centers on human autonomy, reason, and naturalism. It rejects supernatural explanations and prioritizes human experience and scientific thought to understand and shape the world. It advocates for the separation of public institutions, particularly the state from the Christian religion. This is what ChatGPT told me. Believing that society can function effectively and achieve progress without the idea of God, ethics, or religion. That's secularism. It's a religion at its very deepest. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, secularism sounds like a direct result of the Garden of Eden, right? You have autonomy from God, the sovereignty of the human person over connectedness and dependence upon a sovereign God, where you and I get to decide what's good, what's bad, what's good, what's evil, what's righteous, what's unrighteousness. And we make that decision for ourselves. Deciding what is good and evil, materialism, rejecting a spiritual reality. Now, some of the things I'm going to say, you're going to be like, man, you sound a lot like Derek. And well, it's because Derek and I talk a lot. We probably drink from a lot of the same well here. But materialism, the rejection of spiritual reality. Nominalism, the rejection of universal realities like love, goodness, truth, beauty. Postmodernism, the denial of overarching truths and values. Secularism places the focus on our personal experience. And then, with the lack of truth, the lack of a hierarchy with God at the top of this, secularism tries to catechize your children, secular education in particular, tries to catechize your children into the image and the likeness of the overall culture. And so we are, if you just look around society, if you think about what happened in Minneapolis just the other day, if you think about all the tares in our world today, it really comes to this idea of rejecting God and embracing a secular humanist worldview, to where we tell our children they have no purpose, they have no meaning. We send them down a spiral of nihilism, and when they begin to question their own biology, then the school system wants to tell them that who they really are isn't reflected by their biology. So at one time they want us to trust the science, and at the other hand, they want us to deny the science. This is secularism. This is what it produces. It produces children that are anxious, higher anxiety rates today than at any other recorded time in American history. Our children in public school being bullied left and right, and because of social media, never being able to leave that bullying process. I remember as a 7-year-old kid moving from an ACE school, a Christian academy, into a public school and getting bullied. And as soon as school was out, I got to go to my best friend's house, who was my pastor's son, and I forgot all about the bullying. But today, your children, if they're in a system that allows that type of bullying to take place, and they're connected to social media, they never get to leave the bullying. It follows them wherever they go. 61%, listen to these stats. I'll start with this one. 70% of fourth grade public school students in America are not proficient in reading. 70%. 61% of Americans in fourth grade are not proficient in basic math, such as 8 plus 8. 61%. This is what our education produces. It's produced the highest numbers of mental illness and anxiety of any American generation, and an actual lack of real education. Our children are becoming dumber. By denying God and placing truth as a personal perspective in our children are being taught to deny their physical and biological reality, that God and authority of truth becomes internal feelings of the culture and whatever their peers are saying and think. The basic building blocks of nature are denied. Spiritual meaning and purpose are replaced with phrases like, be true to yourself, or follow your own heart towards happiness. In the end, secular education leads our children to nihilism, depression, and hopelessness. So this is why, to be honest with you, I'm absolutely thrilled by this. To know that Osage and the local area around it, that there's hope, that families, moms and dads don't have to buy into the lie that I bought into. I have 3 beautiful children, an incredibly educated young daughter who has her little baby here, my granddaughter. I can look at their lives of my 3 children, and to this very day, I can still see the haunting effects of secular education over them. I can still see it. And it so frustrates and hurts me that there wasn't somebody like me standing in front of me years ago saying to me, get out of that. Take your children and find safety. Find a group of people that love God and are willing to train the children up in the way of God and be educated at the exact same time. I want to end with a reading from Isaiah chapter 54. Isaiah 54, verses 11 through 14. O afflicted one, driven away, who is not consoled. Look, I'm about to set your stones in hard mortar, and I will lay your foundation with sapphire, and I will make your battlements of ruby, and your gates of stone of beryl, and all your wall of precious stones. And your children shall be pupils of Yahweh, and the peace of your children shall be great. In righteousness you shall be established. Be far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near you. If you want your children to experience peace, purpose, we have to allow them to be taught by our Lord. We have to bring Christ back into our education. There's no other way around this. Imagine a group of people that offer the highest, absolute highest education, not to form people that conform to society, but instead a people that look and image like our Creator God. How awesome would that be? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, our final speaker before our closing is His Eminence Metropolitan Nathanael. His Eminence Metropolitan Nathanael of Chicago is the second Metropolitan to preside over the Greek Orthodox metropolis of Chicago, consisting of 58 parishes, 2 monastic communities in Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Missouri, and northern Indiana. And we're blessed to have him here from Chicago. If you prefer a microphone, we do have one if you don't want to speak.
What's that?
If you prefer to speak softer, we do have a microphone that can amplify if you'd like it.
Well, I'm not gonna shout, but I'll speak loud.
Okay.
Thank
If
you.
you don't prefer to.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we do.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I thought I would start off by offering a prayer. It's a common prayer rooted in ancient Christianity, as Derek was mentioning. Let us pray to the Lord. Lord, have mercy. Shine in our hearts, O Master, who loves mankind, the pure light of your divine knowledge, and open the eyes of our mind that we may comprehend the proclamations of your gospels. Instill in us also reverence for your blessed commandments, so that having trampled down all carnal desires, we may lead a spiritual life, both thinking and doing all those things that are pleasing to you. For you, Christ our God, are the illumination of our souls and bodies, and to you we offer up glory, together with your Father, who is without beginning, and your all-holy, good, and life-creating Spirit, now and forever, and to the ages of ages. Amen. I want to start off by thanking Derek and Jessica for inviting me today to be with all of you, and I thank you for welcoming me into your beautiful town here. I was born in Greece, and in a small little village called the Red Village, Kokinohori. And as I was driving around, coming to the school here, I remembered the days growing up. I came to America when I was right around 4 or 5 years old, so I still remember my village, the church, my house being right next to the church, and hearing the bell ring and running to church on Sundays. Nowadays, I live in Chicago, where we had mountains in my village. Now we have skyscrapers, and I do thank you for bringing back these memories that I kind of hold in my heart. Growing up in a small town with beautiful people such as you, we use the word anodos, which is a Greek word, and demos, another Greek word. I want to share with you a Greek word that comes to mind as I look upon you, and that word is agios, or hagios, depending on how you pronounce the Greek. Agios is often translated as holy or saint. Agios, Georgios is Saint George. But agios is more than just holy. It is indeed, you can translate it as holy, but it signifies something that's set apart, something that is divine, something that is special. And in the scriptures we read that the angels, the bodiless powers, when they are before God, the praise they offer to Him is very simple. Agios, 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 the thrice holy offering, recognizing who God is as the only Holy One. And when you stand before someone that is holy, you just acknowledge that holiness. And for a while, humanity, because we were not holy, we were called to holiness, but we were not yet holy. It was difficult to be in the presence of God. And so we know in the Old Testament there are times, especially Moses, cannot approach or see God because He is holy and he would be consumed by this holiness. We know that the way God communicated with the world was through angels, through the prophets, through the law. And so from a distance, because God is set apart. He is the only one that is holy by nature, the only agios. Now, when the Father sends His Son to save the world, God, now taking on flesh, introduces holiness into the world in a most profound way. The incarnation, Jesus Christ taking on the form of a servant, an ordinary person, walking along others, now makes holiness something that we can approach. And actually, holiness approaches us. Holiness touches us, invites us now to touch Him, to come to know Him, to participate in His holy life. And this is something that I see that you want for yourselves as parents, grandparents, and also for your children. You don't want to just give them an education. You don't want to just give them values even, I would say. You want to be holy. You want your children to be holy. And when we approach holiness, the beautiful thing that happens is that light of holiness, the eternal light of God, begins to shine through each of us. And we begin to express and shine that same light that's not natural to us, but natural to God. We start participating in it, and suddenly we also start to shine. Think about the moon. The moon doesn't have light, it reflects light. And so as we come close to God who is holy, we start to shine as holy men, women, and children. And others around us, knowing it or not, are impacted by that holiness that's in our heart. So I am really pleased that Anodos is offering you not just another way to teach and train your children. You know how to do that. You've been doing that. Anodos is giving you an opportunity to dive deeper into holiness and to discover that for yourselves, your children, the city of Osage, Iowa, the Midwest, the United States, and the world. And it will happen through each and every one of you. So I thank you. You are most beautiful. Your children are phenomenal. I just came from Minneapolis, and one of our children of our church there at St. Mary's was one among the children that were injured. And so I know how much you love your children. And you don't want to just protect them. You want them to be lights of the world. Your children will change this world. Your children will give hope to this world. And so I thank you for offering them up. God bless you. Thank you. Do you need the mic? Pastors like microphones, right?
Okay, just going to wrap us up here so we can enjoy our fellowship, refreshments, and continue to tour the building. So from a practical stance, where do we go next? And thank you to everyone who spoke and inspired us of sometimes the why. We need the why on the days that are hard. Why are we doing this? And we're doing it for all of those reasons. And on the practical stance, we have over 60 kids signed up for Anodos Homeschool Group this fall. There are hundreds of homeschoolers in Mitchell County who have not had a place to go or had to drive long distances. So I'm so excited that we can provide that. And we have over 25 men participating in the Brotherhood, and we hope to add more things. This is just the start. These two programs have existed. We're bringing them here and giving them a home. So for the homeschool group, we plan to do a lot of exciting things: science, social studies, field trips, labs, entrepreneurship, finding meaning in your life, career planning. One of our teenagers even said, let's talk about how to date from a Christian perspective. Let's talk about all of it. So it's very exciting. But we aren't done. We will be growing. I don't know exactly what that means, but here are some ideas. Legislators, including Senator Campbell, who's here, have recently passed laws that support Christian education and would allow us to do some great things in this space, bringing in not just homeschoolers, but public school kids to come for individual courses. Such offerings like religious instruction during the school day, off property, or even funds that are available to start a full-fledged K-12 school with that access. Not saying we're doing that, I'm saying these are potential for the future in addition to serving more than just homeschoolers. So we're excited to have the community. And, Whitney started the group last year, and she said, I just want this for my own kid. I started this because I want this. And I said, how can we continue to grow this? We're excited to continue the mission. And you might ask, how do you get involved? What can we do, right? Being here, sending your kids, providing that fellowship is what we can do. But also, you see this large building. You see the renovation that we've done to the one room. There's a lot of space here, a lot of work left to do physically and also curriculum-wise. We want to make this amazing. And so Derek and myself and the Anodos, which is a nonprofit foundation, are going to be pledging. We have a matching campaign right now that we'll be launching on the website. And so for every donation placed that will help Anodos grow, we will do a 1-to-7 match. So for every $1 you put, Derek and I and the foundation of Anodos will put in match it at a 7. So thank you. Thank you. And we anticipate that over the course of the future, Anodos, the nonprofit, will be pledging $1 million from today into the future to put forth what we need to do to make this right. We are pledging $1 million. And with your donations, we can expedite that. To get more rooms available. We're already out of space and we haven't even started. And also to make some amazing opportunities to get more kids involved here. So thank you for being here. And now it's just open house time. So feel free to explore the space, the upstairs. Feel free to get some food and fellowship, connect with one another, eat, drink, and thank you. Yep. The website is anodosacademy.org. anodosacademy.org, and it is live, and you can share that with your family, with your grandparents. Show them what we're doing here and some of the programming that we're going to be offering as well. So, thank you. Enjoy. Sorry.
First meeting of everyone.
That'd be great.
Have everyone kind of.
I think we can possibly get everybody in one picture.
I knew your brother.